Hi everyone, welcome back to HowTechs. Today we have the Xperia XZs, which is the updated version of the Xperia XZ. And so here's the box. We have 19 megapixel motion eye camera, 13 megapixel selfie camera, 5.2 inch full HD screen, USB-C connector, 29 milliamp hour battery, Qualcomm Snapdragon 820, 64 gigabytes of internal memory. Okay, so let's take a look inside the box. And here's the phone. Very nice. We'll put that aside for a second. Take a look at the rest of the box. So we have the USB power brick. This one is, of course, with fast charging, and it's the Qualcomm 3 and also this whatever P Plus 2.0. So basically, it does not just 5 volts, but also 9 volt and 12 volt charging. So definitely can charge up your battery pretty fast. And we also have some Sony earbuds, which are not the in-ear type, but just the one that sit within your earlobe. And in here is just instructions and the USB cable. So now let's take a look at the phone itself. So wrapped in plastic, this device has a dual tray, which can take either 2 SIM cards or a SIM card and a micro SD card. And it also warns you while we're here that this is not a mini USB plug. This is a USB-C one, which is this oval shape. So like a lot of new phones, this one uses USB-C, but this is probably the most unique feature. When was the last time you saw a phone that you could take the SIM tray out without using one of those little ejector tools? So in this case we have the dual tray. So SIM card 1 goes in here, and either card number 2 or a micro SD card can fit into this slot. And this one is cool because there's a back on it. You know which way the card has to face. So let's put this guy back. And one key thing is this one can only fit in one way. Okay, so power button. We have a camera shutter, and that should be the volume rocker. And that's basically it for the controls. USB-C, microphone, and of course headphone jack and microphone on the top. Okay, so let's unwrap this. Okay, so just taking a really quick look at the phone itself. Build quality feels good. Materials are good, although you can see a few fingerprints showing up already. Can't wait to power this guy on. For some reason, the one we have has this sticker stuck on the screen. It's off the screen, so I'm going to leave it for now. But that's not actually normally there. And one other key feature is, rather than having a speaker grill here on the bottom, we see that it's actually here on the front, which looks like it's the home button, but actually for the speaker. And let's give this guy a quick power on. While we're waiting to power it on, let's just quickly talk about the stats on this guy. This is a 161 gram phone. It's a 5.2 inch screen, which is 1080 by 1920 pixels. So it's basically 1080 resolution. It has a 4 gigabytes of RAM on the Snapdragon 820 processor, and it has a 2900 milliamp hour battery. So basically the difference between this and the previous Xperia XS, which came out a couple months earlier, are very few. The main difference is a little bit more RAM and an improved camera. So let's take a look. So our phone is coming in Chinese, so let's figure out how to change that. Luckily for all of you guys, I can read Chinese. So screen looks really nice. There's some walkthrough, etc. So let's go here and check about our phone. So we can see we have Android 7.1.1, which is the latest version. This one was actually patched in February. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the camera. So it's basically a standard camera. You can swipe between the different modes. So we have manual mode, we have superior auto, we have video, and we have some special effects here, AR effects, creative effects, etc., 4K video, panorama, and these are pretty much your standard options. So for manual and superior, you can go in, set your resolution. So this is the highest resolution, this 19 megapixel camera. So in 4/3, it's actually 19 megapixels, and you can go down to 12 megapixel, but it doesn't seem like there's any kind of lower res options. HDR, ISO, etc., self-timer, and you can do some other stuff like the tracking, focus, metering, auto capture, etc., geotagging, and then you can also bring up some of these manual functionality for the camera itself. Auto obviously has fewer functions. So for video, likewise, you can adjust the video resolution to be full HD, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, etc., and then much smaller. And also the stabilization and auto capturing. But for the video, the special feature of this phone is actually it's super slow motion. So they claim this thing can do up to 960 frames per second, which is definitely one of the fastest high-speed cameras available in such a small form factor. You know, and it compares very well to even things like a GoPro can only do, like, I think 240 or maybe 300 frames per second. So this is 5 times higher. To use it, you have to basically go into super slow motion mode and then start recording, and when the thing that you want to record in slow motion happens, you have to just hit this, and basically it records a burst at very high speed, and then you have to hit stop. And so it's actually really tricky, and it took me a lot of times just to get the timing right, especially if you're trying to do something that happens very quick. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's test out the super slow-mo here with a Stormtrooper. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? We definitely want to test this one out more, maybe go outside and see what we can find, but I think you guys get the idea. So it's basically it for the Xperia XZs. We definitely like that high-speed function. It's unique. It's something that sets this apart from other brands' phones. You might not use it every day, but there's probably once in a while it'll be pretty cool. And if you're into any kind of action sports and stuff, there's definitely places where it would be awesome to have that kind of functionality. Again, overall, the phone is pretty good. The build quality is nice, a little bit fingerprint sensitive. It's actually pretty light. The more we use it, the more we like this relatively small screen size, but nice and thin and good weight. You know, if you use, say, an iPhone 6 or 7 Plus or even a new Samsung, your thumb gets tired reaching around and trying to hold a heavy phone while you're manipulating around. So the screen is relatively easily to reach without having to juggle your phone and endangering that it drops. So overall, pretty cool. One word of warning, we found that if you actually remove the SIM tray, the phone automatically restarts itself. You know, this is not 2007. I don't know why it needs to do that, but for some reason it does. And so when you take it out, it does it, and when you put it back in, it does it. It's actually pretty lame. So just be forewarned. If you have any questions about the Xperia XZs, please let us know. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and please check out our many other how-to videos for the Xperia XZs and many other popular phones here on HowTechs. See you next time. Bye.